How's it going, cyber friends? Welcome back to another episode here on my channel. Today we're going to talk about my top 3 rod and reel combos. Budget friendly, that is. So roll it. All right, cyber friends, before we start, let's establish some ground rules, right? These are not the cheapest rod and reel combos that you can get out there. Number 2, these are not same company, same model combos, already put together combos that you can get. And number 3, this is 100% my honest opinion based on my own experiences with these products. So let's get right into it. These are not the cheapest. You can get an Abu Garcia Black Max combo for like $70, or you can get a loose Infinity for about $100 combo. And don't get me wrong, those are great options. If your budget is about $100 or less, those are great options, and I would definitely go with that. If you're looking for the next step, so somewhat intermediate, budget friendly, good quality, price over value, a good match. These are my top 3 picks, and let's get right into it. Number 3, these are not really on any order. I'm just showing them how I want to, right? So this is one of my favorites. Well, it is a favorite rod, but I was talking about the reel. This is a loose matte speed spool. The best thing about this reel is that it's inshore. So it's designed for inshore fishing, which is salt water. So you can use it in salt water as well as obviously fresh water. If you do use it in salt water, make sure you give it a good rinse whenever you're done with it. So this one has both the centrifugal brake system and also the magnetic brake system. So you can tune it right down exactly where you want it. If you are not familiar with that type of braking system or anything like that, basically has an extra option that narrows down the exact brake point that you want to use. So inside it's got the four little pins that you can put in, and that is your centrifugal brake system, which you can turn on and off, and it's basically 4 levels. So you have 4 basic levels, and then in the cover you have your 10 different levels. Those are driven by your magnetic system. So it has both. Most reels out there will have either or, especially on this price range. This one happens to have both. I really like the ones that stay connected by like a little piece of metal or something like that, or you can just spin halfway out and clear the area, but it doesn't come completely apart. Obviously you can lose it if you're around water and you happen to adjust your inside brake, your centrifugal brake system. But yeah, this is a loose matte speed spool, and it's the inshore model. This is not the latest model on this specific reel, which is good because you can buy it for really cheap. I bought it on eBay for about $60-$70 for this. It's got those wind grips, kind of like a signature from Loose. Really good. When they get wet, they get even more sticky. It's got that shape that allows you to really crank down on it without slipping away from it, right? I have this on a White Bird from Favorite. This White Bird is about $59 on Amazon. You can also get it from their own website, Favorite. Really good rods, really good quality rods. The trigger is very ergonomical friendly, right? This is normally how I hold it, but if you hold it like this, or 2 fingers or 3 fingers, I like to really palm the reel. You can control it really well, really stable. This is a medium heavy with a fast action. As you can see, it's kind of like soft. I like using any type of crankbaits or lipless crankbait, even maybe some jerk baits, but mainly my lipless crankbait. This is my setup for that type of fishing. So yeah, I'll say this is probably my number 3. If I had to put them in order, this would be my number 3, but definitely my top 3. Moving on, my number, I don't know, man. I don't know if this is the 2 or the 3, but let's just say it's number 2, right? So this is a fire stick from Favorite again. The rod, this is a medium heavy with the I think this is a moderate action, so it's a little stiffer than the other one. And I have it on a Quantum Smoke S3 from KVD. This is for sale if you can find it. It's still available on eBay. I've seen a couple of models. It's 731, I believe. Maybe. Okay, it doesn't say. But yeah, I believe it's 731 or 741. So right at in the middle towards the top, right? Not the fastest, but definitely you can do about everything with this type of setup. Besides frogging or flipping with some heavy jigs, you can do about everything. Right now I have it on a jerkbait. Right now I have it on a 12 pound. This is fluorocarbon. So yeah, Fire Stick Smoke S3 from Quantum. KVD edition, did I mention that already? I really love the handles. This is like a grippy, foamy thing that also gets wet and it gets kind of sticky. Very big compared to like the proportion of the actual handles versus the rod size. These are disproportionately big, which I really like. It allows for a better grip. I really like that. This has the centrifugal braking system. 16 different options for brake setting. If you're looking to get your first baitcaster, remember to always set up the max brake on. Max, you wanna go max, you wanna have the brake all the way down, which is max, at your max level. That is going to allow you to experience less backlashes. And that helps a lot, it makes it a lot of fun, especially when you're starting. This cast really smooth. Probably one of the smoothest. One thing I forgot to mention about my loose, this setup right here, I can cast the farthest out of all my setups. Loose is really good when it comes to casting. And then you have this one, which is probably the best combination when it comes to smooth casting, but also far distance, right? So this is a combination of both. And then my last one is the Shimano. No other but the Shimano, $100 SLX. This is the HG 151. Again, I like left-handed retriever. This is the SLX 151 HG. I do have the DC as well, but for this budget video, this is probably one of the better options when it comes to smoothness, right? Out of all my baitcasters, this is definitely the smoothest. I have it on, this is another fluoro, 12 pound. Right now, I have it with my Guggen Ranger, I believe that's what it's called. It's a dip diver crankbait. And I have it paired up with the St. Croix Bass X. St. Croix, if you know anything about bass fishing, is one of probably those companies with the best reputation when it comes to fishing rod. This is probably one of my best rods that I have. This is about $108 on Amazon, so $108, about $100. Very unlikely you'll find a sale in any of these items. This is the top quality. That's why it's in the top intermediate budget, right? About $210 for the combo. Really good option if you're looking for something intermediate towards the top of intermediate, I guess. One feature that I really love about this specific rod is this extra foamy little circle right here. It allows for me to rest my index finger right there, and it makes it so much more comfortable. Normally, my finger ends up resting on the screw part where to tighten the reel. And over time, you know, after 4 or 5 hours in the water casting, I don't know, hundreds of times, it does with wet hands, it makes a difference. That foamy part right there, money. This is also super thin, but it's not as soft as maybe some of the medium heavies out there. This is kind of like a moderate action, which increases my sensitivity by about 21%, I would say. I don't know. It just feels better, right? I use this setup for my Texas rig. especially more like a finesse Texas rig, right? Either widthless, swim speed warm, or any type of lizard or any type of like a slimmer profile creature, right? That's what I use it with, maybe either weightless or with 1/8 of an ounce bullet weight. If you're just starting with baitcasters, you know, Shimano, I'll probably even upgrade that. If I can only have one, I'll go with the Shimano SLX DC. However, if you want to start with something less than $200, I will go with this. And then any favorite rod, any Guggen Squad rod, any of this, either St. Croix, they also have the Fury series by what's it called, Dubbies or Doobies, whatever it's called. The Fury ones are really good. Have a couple of those. What else I have here? The Abu Garcia Burritas is about $100, really good. Or any of the entry-level Shimanos will do great. Even the same SLX Shimano, that'll go good, and it's under $200. So if you're just starting with baitcaster, remember when you make that initial transition, you go from throwing a spinner, you go from that surf casting or spinner reel to that. Remember that transition is going to be hard because you're able to throw this a little harder. However, the reason you're making the transition to the baitcaster is so you can be more accurate. Accuracy is 100% easier to achieve with the baitcaster, right? When you're looking for bass, you want to put it right next to those logs, right next to the tree, right under the shade, right next to the grass. So remember, just be patient, keep working at it, right? Pick 1 or 2. You don't need to have 17 like a pro. You also don't need 5 or 6. Start with 1. I would recommend to stay with something in the intermediate range because it's gonna work better for you, right? There's options out there. You can go on Amazon and get one of those Chinese ones for like $30 for an entire combo. But I will go with something intermediate level just so you get proficient with something really good. And then I will only go with 1. Once you get really good, then you can upgrade to maybe something better. I'll go with one only, medium heavy, about 7 foot, 7'2", depending on how tall you are. I think you can't go wrong with the 7 foot, medium heavy, fast action. And then something around the $100 range, depending on your brand. I tried most of them. I really like all of them. I'm not married to any brands or anything like that. But yeah, these are my top 3. Now, before we leave, I always try to give you guys one last tip. I just got my Uncle Josh pork and jig. These are kind of like a frog tail made out of pork, pig skin. Check it out. So about a 1/4 inch on top, and then the tail is kind of like filleted down to the outer of the skin. I like to split them even a little higher, and then fillet some of that fat on the inner side of the skin. These are some of the most durable baits out there before soft plastic was a thing. We were using this back in the woods. These are really good. You can, whenever you're done fishing, you can throw it right back in your bottle and you can use it again later on. If you want to try this, but you don't have a way to get a hold of some, you can always go to your local butcher and get yourself some. Get some pig skin, whether it's from a pig's head or pig's feet, and then you can cut it. You saw the shape, not rocket science. You can cut it yourself. Fillet the tail. I normally like to split the tail even higher, where it gives me better action. All right, and the number one advantage of using something like this versus plastic, especially on this cold weather, cold water. That plastic, as you know, if you throw like a soft plastic in the water and the water is, 35 degrees, 40 degrees, below 40 degrees, that plastic, or most plastics, they get really hard, they get really stiff, right? The pigskin will not, the water temperature will not affect it will not affect how soft the skin is and the action that it has in the water. So you use it with, if you've never seen this get used, You basically grab any type of jig, whatever jig you prefer, whether it's a pitching jig or a swimming jig or a finesse jig, right? You can even cut this in half and then make it even smaller. Make 2 out of this if you're using like a finesse jig. They sell them in different colors. You don't need special colors. You can just make your own, or you can buy it. Anyways, you can put your jig in here just like you would. Well, no, not just like you would. So you go with, so you have your hook. You go right in the middle and you put it in like that on the hook, and then you have the jig on top, right? And you just cast it out there. It stays on the hook. It doesn't come off. It doesn't come apart. It's really good. Give it a try. Let me know if it works. But yeah, pig in a jig. Jig pig jig, pork jig, however you know it. It's a really good option for this cold weather temperatures. All right, cyber friends, like always, thank you for watching. Have yourself a great fishing day.